Will Bitcoin rebound or start to plummet after the shock? If you are interested in this issue, please follow me to read. You are very welcome to click on the Bybit link below. Now, as long as KYC deposits $100, you can immediately give away $1,000 in Bitcoin contract positions. And this is a real contract position. You only need to complete the KYC deposit of $100. And you can get it for free. If you have made money, you can directly withdraw the coins and go away. Let us go back to the Bitcoin board. I appeared on the Bitcoin board. I think it is a very important signal. In 4 hours, we can already draw the shock zone formed below it after the plunge. The most important thing is the upper and lower boundaries of the shock zone. You can find our upper boundary. There have been 2 tests including this position. And for the pins in the back, we have tested more times below. In fact, we have tested more times below. It can also show that our current bulls are relatively weak. Then we can review the market a little bit. After we have experienced such a sharp drop in the past, what is the role of the shock box below him? For example, we were at this position at the time after the FTX incident plummeted. We formed another box below the box. The direction we finally chose in the box was that we broke through the upper edge of the box, especially our front. At the high point, our follow-up market will never return, and we will move forward without looking back. And then including our position in front of us is the relay after our plunge. At that time, we formed a shock range after the plunge. Its range is relatively narrow. So you can also see that we have followed up with our second wave of decline. The second wave of decline? Its starting point. Or we definitely have a chance to identify it as the breakout. When the lower edge of our box breaks the support of the lower edge, if we seize this opportunity, it will be a very, very good profit. If we look forward, including the previous position, we will also form a box after the fall. Then the boundary of the box is very important. If the boundary is broken downward, then you can see that we have ushered in our second wave of sharp decline. If it is broken upward, of course, we will review the market. Several times he was in a bear market, so he broke down in the end. But this time, he broke up. If he breaks up, he will have a very large amount to cooperate with. Even at the beginning, it was indeed for it is disadvantageous for the bulls, because we run towards the lower edge of the box, and we touch the lower edge more often. But I still win the bulls in the end. After we oscillate for a long time, the bulls finally win. Then we can use. He breaks through from the top or bottom of the box to judge his final direction. Then we go back to our current board. Of course, the current board is not as big as our review. We can only see it in 4 hours. This box is very clear. Judging from the current situation of shrinkage, I think this is of no reference value. The latter paragraph has no reference value, because we are currently on the 6th. The fluctuation of the 6th should be relatively small. It will be very, very small. Or even if we ignore the 6-day fluctuation, it will have almost no impact on the market. If I think that if we break through the previous high point and have volume energy, then we will start a wave of rebound. It seems that the probability is relatively low. The probability of a wave of rebound is relatively low. If we talk about a rebound, I believe it will reach 27,000 to 28,000. I believe there is a chance. But no matter how we rebound, it cannot exceed the place of 28,500 is, because if even 28,500 can be regained, then it is hard to say whether our decline is a real decline or a fake decline. So if we break through the previous high, well, we have to pay attention to that Bitcoin will have a rebound target of about 27,000 to 28,000. If it rebounds, I will actually wait for a short selling opportunity. That is, if it rebounds, I will also wait for a good opportunity to beat him and go short him. What does it mean if he directly chooses to break down from the shock zone? If he chooses to fall directly from this shock zone, he will break through the previous support, especially our real part. If it closes at the lower edge of our box, then I think the chances of us continuing to plummet will increase a lot. And it seems that the market is still more inclined to be short. After all, we have not had a good rebound, or even there has not been a decent rebound. And there has been no demand for a rebound so far. We can mark a point, which is roughly at the previous low point. If it falls below the previous low, it is the most important feature of breaking the box. At this time, I believe that we will inevitably have a plunge. If there is no plunge, at least there will be a further decline. Then let's change the level. Let's cut it to the level of 1 hour and 1 hour. We can emphasize a line. The central axis of the entire shock box is probably at this position, roughly on the central axis of the box. In fact, the amplitude of our oscillation is very small. But it is only $700 or $800. Compared with the decline in front of us, the shock amplitude of $700 or $800 belongs to it. This kind of narrow range of shocks in a relatively narrow range. Usually the market will continue our previous market. That is, we will continue after the shock that we fell before. At this position of the central axis. You can also find that in the front of these places, there are corresponding resistances, including resistances behind us. And there are supports here. So it seems that we have tested more times below. And we have most of them also run on the lower boundary of the box. How can we say that it is the center axis? We can pull a channel because the channel will help you mark the center axis. You can find that the position of the dotted line in the middle is very similar to the position of the white solid line we drew. So in the middle this central axis can indicate the strength of the current market. At present, it must be short sellers. Finally, let's talk about Ethereum. In fact, Bitcoin's big market. That is to say, the previous wave of our decline happened at the position where our weekly upward trend line fell below. You can find that it is here. When we break down, he produced a very, very huge breakout of the weekly entity, which is a 10% drop. In fact, it is rare and not very rare. But it is also rare in terms of general market conditions. This kind of drop is indeed very large. If you do contracts or do some other derivatives operations, the profit can be magnified again. Bitcoin fell below and it really attracted a big drop, which led to a big market. It is worth grasping the market. But Ethereum has not yet. If we draw this wave of gains from the lowest point, you can find that Ethereum has not fallen below this trend line. If we start from the lowest point, then why? In fact, our previous wave of Ethereum is the increase following the upgrade of Ethereum. Bitcoin is not available. So you can't see this rise in Bitcoin. Bitcoin started to rise from the back. So Ethereum's current weekly level, the trend line of the largest level, has not been broken. So I believe that if it breaks, it will usher in another wave of bloody storms. Just like Bitcoin, we can refer to the market that Bitcoin has come out after it fell below. If we say it is smaller in terms of levels, we can find that it is currently in a swap. That is, at the position of 1700. At this position, some swaps are also under resistance. So we can choose. Let's take a look at how Ethereum finally chose this one. Can he break the line? Thank you very much. You are very welcome. You can like my video, subscribe and share. Turning on the little bell is the biggest support for me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.